share something with you. I knew a guy who wanted to start a business so bad that he was stuck in a dead-end job, had a wife and kids, and I spoke to him once, and he was literally at his wit's end because he was working 60 hours a week in this factory. He was so depressed that he felt like he had been reduced down as a man to where his only value left was his utility value of what he could produce. He became a robot, and he felt like a slave. He was so depressed, I heard it in his voice, and all he wanted to be was have his own small business. But he had a wife and kids, and he was terrified. Well, the day came where he snapped, and he couldn't take it anymore, and he did it. He literally put in his 2 weeks' notice. He had a little bit of money saved up, and he launched out on his own. His wife detested it because it was not a secure thing to do, right? And I wish I could tell you that this is an amazing hero story where everything worked out great, but he went out there, bro. I don't know if you've ever seen the Disney movie of Bambi, and like Bambi is like a little baby deer and is like wobbling around and like can't even defend herself. Well, this dude didn't have the business experience of being out there in the trenches. And basically, it's like going out in the middle of the freeway and just getting ran over, dude. It wasn't good. And just hear me out here. Ultimately, he didn't have enough time to go out and learn the lessons and fight the fights. And he just ended up going back and taking another job. And the sad thing is, now hear me out. I don't know what's going to happen with his life. I hope maybe he'll get the courage again to go out and do it again. But here's my point. He went back to another job where he's just going to work again 40 to 60 hours a week and being miserable to feed his family. Now, I don't know about you, but I saw these things crystal clear. I'm not saying I see a lot of stuff. I don't see nothing, bro. I don't know anything. But one thing I saw crystal clear back when I started my landscape business, I felt like I was already dead. I was stuck in a dead-end job. And now I saw the trajectory in my life. It was the worst thing ever, where I knew that if I didn't go out and run my ass off and do whatever I possibly could to get this thing off the ground, I didn't have a choice. I literally saw it the way I perceived it. It was crystal clear to me. I didn't have a choice. And it didn't matter what anybody said or what my wife said or anything. But here's the sad part. I was laying in bed right now because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I got to go back to bed. But I had to share this with you. I heard this thing about Mike Tyson. He's on the internet now talking about some crazy stuff, and he's very wise. Like, people looked at him as some sports star, and he was. But he used to get paid to people up, and he said the more he hurt people and beat people up, was the more everybody loved him. And at one point, he actually said that before he would go out on stage, he would cry. Because he didn't want to be that. He had to go become this man who would go beat people up. And it was just like a horrible thing. Think about how brutal that is. Now think about putting on war paint on your face and going out and becoming a warrior to protect your family. Like, I can't even imagine that at that level, right? But here's what I am saying. Good thing we're maybe not at that point, right? But here's what I'm saying. I know for me, and I'm just sharing my personal testimony, the man that I had to become to get my landscaping business off the ground, because I'm talking way more about landscape business. I'm talking about freedom here. I don't like the guy that I had to become. I had to leave. So I had to work a day job, 40 to 50 hours. I was thinking about it. It's like a formula, 40, 20, 20. 20 hours a week after that. It felt more like 40 was getting this little business off the ground and getting clients and taking care of them. But there was another 20 hours a week that was just purely making mistakes, screwing up, not knowing what I was doing, undercharging customers, not knowing my worth, having low self-esteem, out there getting ran over, right? And it's impossible to get a business off the ground. It feels like it is because it takes everything that you have. The man that I had to become I was gone. I don't even know how my wife stayed with me. There was times where I was beating myself up so bad. I was like, why didn't she just go find another guy who already had been through all this evolution, and she didn't have to deal with me being Bambi and having to learn how to frickin' walk and become, like a provider or whatever you want to call it, right? Like, I came to this conclusion. Garrett White from Wake Up Warrior, you might know who he is. He posted this picture one day, him and his wife, and he said his marriage finally became like amazing or something when he woke up to the fact, just because he's Mr. Tough Guy Entrepreneur, he realized that his wife doesn't need him. She would have been fine without him and she would go crush it. Like, he thought that some people think, maybe some men think, oh, she would be lost without me. Without me. Bro, I don't know, think again, bro. Like, do you get what I'm saying, bro? I don't know. I'm not trying to say anything negative. All I'm saying is that I was gone literally, and some weeks was 100-hour weeks. Okay, Sunday night at 9 and 10 o'clock at night, I'm out on job sites, pushing around a wheelbarrow and shoveling. And my customers were like, what are you doing? Leave. And I was so scared. My hands were I was sleeping with a shovel, bro, because there were so many mistakes I had made. And here's the next thing I want to say. I'll just fast forward this. Think about a world where now you got to start hiring employees. Okay, here's the next thing. If you don't understand like payroll and workers' comp and how much to pay them and how to train them and how to hire them, you're going to be the biggest idiot out there, dude. Like, I've had an employee before where I was so stressed out, I started like hitting my steering wheel and then I started crying in front of him and shit, like, because I was trying my hardest to get this thing to work and it just leaked out, like, exposed as not knowing what I was doing. Like, you're going to look like an ass. You're going to look like an idiot. You're going to look like a total idiot, and people are going to be all over your shit going like, what is wrong with you? How come you don't know all this stuff? You'd be like, I don't know. Nobody gave me a rule book on how to be a business owner, how to be a leader, how to hire employees, how to be a great... I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying my best. And they don't even care when you say that you're trying your best. Now you look like a fool for being upset. Like, it doesn't matter how hard you try. This world is tough, and you're just going to get ground. You're just going to get ran over 1,000 times until you get up and just keep facing it. And here's why I'm saying all this. Once you understand that, you won't be sitting around watching TikTok videos and scrolling through Instagram posts. And we all get sucked into that crap sometimes. But when you understand the reality and the severity, like, there are moments in life when you're backed into a corner and you got to make decisions to go stand in the face of fear and get shit done. And in those moments, when everything is pointing at you, you start thinking about those little moments you wasted looking at dumbass TikTok videos or not having your shit together.
More of the Untrapped podcast right after this. Hey, if you're looking for what is probably the greatest software ever to run your business on, go to getjobber.com/Keith. You can create proposals, invoices, collect payments, even track your entire business directly on the Jobber smartphone app. And if you want to get a totally free trial of Jobber right now, open your browser, type in getjobber.com/Keith. And if after the trial you decide you want to sign up with Keith's link, you'll automatically get 20% off your first 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to getjobber.com/Keith. And once again, here's your host, Keith Kalfas.
I'm talking about radical focus, radical motivation. But I'm so obsessed with this. And the more you grow, I can only speak, I guess, for men, because I'm a man, but this is kind of a universal. The more you grow, not only as a human, but as a man, as an entrepreneur, but I'm talking about just a good-hearted soul who wants to do good and be a creator. The more you grow is the more you realize, and the universe shows you how small you are compared to how much you need to grow, and it just keeps filling. Like, you can never out-evolve. Wherever, like, it's not fast enough. Wherever you are right now, if you ain't there yet, you're not fast enough, and you need to do more and grow more and be more and achieve more and do more. And that sounds insane, right? Because the reciprocal of that is to be in peace and harmony and love and relax and be grateful for what you do have. That's true too. You see where I'm going with this? There's so much I gotta say. I can make 100 videos talking about these topics. They literally keep me up at night. I am obsessed with personal development and growth and evolution, and I'm freaking obsessed with this stuff. If you like these type of night videos, I'll make a ton more. But I think that there's a clock that's ticking, and the longer that you wait, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and nobody cares, and you're building your own prison around you. And if you don't run for your freedom, here was my main point. When you run for your freedom, to have freedom for your family or to be able to be an entrepreneur or any of that stuff, you're going to make people around you suffer because they need your presence and your time and your love. And where you're not there, you're like a bad guy. And it takes radical communication. Hey, I know that I'm putting you through hell. I know I look like a total idiot. I know I'm making mistakes and undercharging for these jobs. I know I don't know how to hire employees and all this stuff. And I know that I can't spend time with you right now because I got to stay up all night doing all this paperwork that keeps landing on my plate. Like you're learning how the tax system works and the paperwork. And now you're going to learn how to hire a CPA and this. And it's a nonstop learning journey that just doesn't stop. And more and more and more and more shit keeps getting thrown on your plate. That you're creating all of this. You like it. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. So it's like now you got to become like 10 people in one person. And now you just got to not sleep. And then you'll have people beating you up and gurus on the internet saying, but you got to get at least 8 hours of sleep. You got to take care of yourself and put yourself in. No, you got to put God first. And I've learned that you do got to put God first. No, you got to put your wife first. You got to put your family first. You're like, I'm putting everybody first. And that's when somebody ends up. When you're putting everybody first instead of you, that's when a dude ends up in full-blown depression with bags under his eyes, hating his life, and feels worthless and valueless. And now he's got his little tiny small business and he feels hopeless inside. And then they tell you, no, you got to put yourself first. And it's like, it's called you can't win for losing. That's a depressing place to be. Now, I just want to say, I'm not trying to be negative here. I've been through that too, and I got through that shit. And the other side of that right there, when you work yourself into that place where like you suck and everybody hates you, and no matter what you do, you can't make your family happy, you can't make your wife happy, you can't make your clients happy, and you keep making mistakes, that place right there, that means that you're close to your breakthrough. That right there means that just on the other side of that brick wall, that's where you crack through and the sunshine comes in and you start to feel that freedom. That's when things start to come together, but it's a really hard turn. And if you can get through that, and I know you can, because if somebody is like low self-esteem with me, dude, I got Tourette's like a mug. I'm always blinking and twitching like I didn't know my value or my self-worth, and I had a lot of growing up to do. I just want to let you know, if someone like me, if you knew the real me and how much growing up I had to do, and how freaking immature, if I can do it, you can definitely do this shit, okay? You got this. You got this. You got this. You got this. You got this, right? Because if you stick your head in the sand, you don't face it. That, when you're almost inviting, like saying, like, I invite failure. I just want to lose everything and it's not going to work, so then I could be depressed. If I'm not good enough, then just everybody leave me alone and then I'll just go wallow in a dark hole by myself. That place there, that's not a good place. I've been in that place too. And you know what? When you're in that place, nobody cares. And it's like, I think about it like, especially if you have a family, now you're hurting the people. So this is another thing I'm obsessed with, and I should save this for another video. As you evolve and you grow in your consciousness and your wisdom and all these good things and in equity, it's like the growth that you experience, it hurts people around you. That's why part of me, this is a personal thing, I don't understand how some people can have like 5 kids and have like a huge business and all these employees, because you're going to make mistakes by trying to work to support them all, survive, and then you can't spend time with them all, and then like you don't take care of your employees because you got too many and you haven't grown to be that level yet, and you're growing too fast. And then people feel like neglected by you and they feel like you're not giving them the leadership that they need, and people expect so much of you. And how are you supposed to be all these things to all people at once without cracking up? Like, I think that's leadership, and I lack that. Now, let me know what you think in the comments below. But here's another thing. Get in where you fit in. This is my favorite saying. If you know This is the last thing I'm going to say. If you know in your heart you are not ready to do some evil Knievel shit in your business, you're not ready to go be like some of the guys in there, you're not ready to go buy $100,000 truck and some 20-foot dump trailer and go hire 5 employees and then a foreman. If you're just trying to learn the ropes of your own little tiny business right now, and you need to iron that shit out first, right? Maybe you're not ready to go buy a bigger home or upgrade or pimp your life, and it's driving you nuts because you're not as successful as you want to be at. Screw everybody else. You got to do you for a while, and you got to learn, and you got to get the rhythm of this thing. And if it takes you longer than it takes other people, so be it, because it's a lot better than you going out and making decisions to make other people happy that in the long run, it's going to put you and them in a funny place where now you're, running a train into a brick wall, and now you're apologizing to everybody. What I mean is, the formula for your success, of course you have to push your comfort zones, and you have to be uncomfortable, and that's where growth and personal development is at. But if you try to do anything way too fast, and you don't feel in your heart that it's right, because your heart, you have this compass that guides you. And we've been praying a lot and reading the Bible, and we read the Bible tonight for like 15 minutes at night. And it's amazing when you hear like the things that Jesus said. It was like, the way that dude spoke was incredible. So anyways, you know in your heart what is right and what vibrates to the next level for you. And just because you have a friend or someone who's making millions, like you might get there, or you might even pass that person up. But so you know your own unique path.
Stick around as Keith returns with more of the Untrapped podcast in just a moment. Have you been thinking that it's time to really market your business in a more effective manner? Keith has spent years testing tens of thousands of dollars on marketing and advertising, and he is just amazed that the 7 most powerful marketing strategies that he's ever found are surprisingly low cost, and some are even free. He distilled down everything that he's learned into a 7-step guide and wants to give it to you for free. If you'd like to download the free guide, it's called 7 Steps to Marketing Your Business, then simply go to keithkalfas.com/7steps. That's keithkalfas.com/7steps. And of course, the link will be in the show description. This is Untrapped with Keith Kalfas.
And if you can be happy and content and be on your path and grow at your own pace and really iron things out, because there's a lot of personal growth and development that might have to happen inside of you before it ever happens on the outside, maybe even materialistically. Your personal growth and development, like the roots of a tree, have to grow really deep. And you might have a lot of self-work to do before it ever shows on the outside. And the thing about that was me, right? I had so much growing up to do. All right. I'm glad I shared that with you. You got this.
I'm going to wrap up. Go to Keith Kalfas Untrapped on Apple Podcasts, and please leave the show a well-worded, positive 5-star review. It helps boost the rankings of the show. I really, really appreciate it. Hit me up on YouTube, Instagram, at Keith Kalfas, and I can't wait to hear about your success, and I'll see you soon.